I'm not your standard political candidate. I'm an ordinary citizen, a rancher. And when things get to a certain point, it's in a democracy, supposedly, you can make a difference if you'll just show up. And so I brought a few props. Maybe some of you were wondering what this is. This is the NASCAR jacket, actually a pack burro racing champion jacket of all politicos, most of the people involved in the political game who are backed by big money. You think there's too much big money in politics? Well, maybe we could really get the big money out of it and get the people back into it if our politicians wore a jacket like this. Now, I'm kind of thinking that maybe we could just use a scroll under CNN when the congressmen are on the floor instead of this jacket. But for the time being, I think I want you to get my point that most politicians are dancing with who brung them. And that's big money, whether it's from people at Enron or Raytheon or any business in the military industrial complexes are big donors. Of course, the pharmaceuticals give pretty heavily. And I do think that the oligarchy is participating in democracy way more than it should. Or they have much more power than they ought to have. More power than you and me, that's for sure. But in pack burro racing, which is kind of an esoteric sport I do, where you run 30 miles with a jackass over Mosquito Pass, you start accumulating sponsors who pay for your feed and your hauling and your shoes, and you advertise the fact that, yeah, I'm kind of bought and paid for by my sponsors, but I don't think that's the way it ought to be in politics. Consequently, one of my big issues is getting the big money out of politics and having public funding of all elections, from coroner to the president, so that we can get these folks talking about issues that are really related to the people and acting on what we the people want.